Boom, baby. What's up to the video? In this one, we'll be talking about how I made 5.8K, baby, on a trade using ChatGPT, creating a GPT specifically for trading, and how exactly I did that and how you can actually access this GPT completely for free. That's right, completely for free. And we're going to be diving into all of that in this video. It's going to be a good one, but buckle up. Let's go ahead and just dive right into it. All right, so let's just dive into it. How I kind of came across all this was it was kind of inspired by Easy East Bodega, who was comparing the different AI models against each other, you know, Grok, ChatGPT, Claude, and what have you. And he was posting up his results. He was having some pretty good success with ChatGPT, and I went ahead and I started testing this prompt as well out in both of those, and I noticed a little bit of differences, same similar things in the beginning, and then Grok started doing kind of like almost the opposite, and it started giving me, you know, on the bearish takes, whereas ChatGPT was giving me those like kind of bullish takes, but it wasn't really providing me with what would happen if that level broke down, and Grok was kind of giving me the breakdown on the short side. So it was kind of like, you know, giving me a little bit of different takes, but very similar. And since then, ChatGPT has upgraded to their Model 5. And of course, the models are only going to continue to get better. So what I did is I grabbed this prompt and decided to do a little bit of prompt engineering in ChatGPT. So what I did is I made a couple of tweaks. I designed a prompt that was going to be a prompt that was going to engineer this prompt to make it even better. And I even added a Hyperliquid simulation. So it'll actually give you a simulation. You can actually even input the amount in your position and how much leverage you're using for more accurate kind of, you know, an accurate thesis or simulation for you. And how you use this is you can actually go over here to GPTs. And why I created this is because I wanted to have access to this on my dashboard right here on a daily basis, to use this on a daily basis for trading updates and smart entries and smart trades. And so you can look it up here in the GPT section by typing in Trading Buddy GPT. And you have to spell that out fully because I think other people have created a Trading Buddy as well, but it's not called Trading Buddy GPT. So just a heads up on that. What we're going to do is we're going to click on this and we're going to try to do another setup here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a screenshot of Arbitrum. This is all you have to do. And this is kind of like the best use case, how to use this GPT to the best of your, actually, I'll go ahead and even screenshot ETH. I like to have all the data on my screen, as much data that it can parse through. I think the more data, the better for ChatGPT. So what we'll do, and this is better used on PC because for some reason, when you do mobile, it won't submit the photo if you click one of these like pre-prompted prompts over here. So we're gonna wait for that to load. We're just gonna click on that. Now you can get more specific with this, say like I want to do a swing trade. So generate a trading strategy for me around a, let's say, a swing trade or a daily swing trade or a week swing trade. So you can, you know, define your parameters a little bit more, but this is how I use for ease of use. This is a good way to like just start. It'll give you a breakdown. It realizes it's the 1-day chart. Trend bias currently ranging with bullish undertones. Price is broken out of accumulation, but is pulling back inside of a falling channel. Green trend line, strong demand around the 45-47 cents zone. And it gets into technical confluence, all the different patterns. It even fibs it out, even though I don't have a fib on there. Not to my knowledge. ETH price impact. We know that Arbitrum is super correlated with ETH. It's a good beta play for ETH. Obviously, it's a layer 2 on ETH, and they since then partner with Robinhood to make a Robinhood chain, which is pretty cool. So it's got a lot of good, strong technicals. I don't like to use, you know, tokens outside of like the top 60 or 50 because I like those higher market cap ones because it's a little bit more easier to trade, and I think the risk reward ratio is better than trying to trade some kind of like garbage token, because that's not going to be very good for like ChatGPT because it's not going to have all that data around a crappy token, right? It's going to have a lot of data around Arbitrum because it's a bigger token. There's more news about Arbitrum all the time. It's going to know all that data, right? So that's why I recommend kind of a higher market cap setup. Trade setup, bias long, swing entry 47, 49 zone, stop loss at 42. You know, it shows you take profit levels. You know, I like to stick around the TPT2, but if you're like super conservative, TP1, you can start taking initials out or whatever you need to do. However your setup is, this is informational purposes only, not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and never put more capital than you're willing to lose. Obviously, you know, do it smart. So 6, trade simulation. Again, you can put in your amount of capital with how much leverage you're using, and it'll give you the exact kind of like amounts based on your size. So then it gives you a final thesis. ARB is consolidating in a bullish falling channel after a breakout sitting near high volume support, yada, yada. And it'll ask, would you like me to also generate a short-term scalping plan on the 4-hour in case we don't retrace to 47? And instead, break out of the falling channel early, and we can just click yes. So it all comes down to your preference, and you can kind of verify this. You know, maybe you want to create a couple chats to kind of like confirm all this. But it's pretty good. It's been giving me pretty good results. Obviously, I made 5.8K on this just yesterday using this GPT, and I'll probably make a couple more tweaks, like make a little bit more visual to this. Although I do kind of like this, right? How it's just text. You know, versus I think Claude Easy was saying gave him some visuals, which I thought was pretty cool. But I like this kind of, it's visual enough for me, but perhaps maybe, you know, you can comment down below if you want more visual on this. But yeah, this new trading setup here, it's saying a scalping strategy, you know, key levels of support, resistance at the 55, 57, and 60 level, which is pretty super accurate as well. And then we can get down here, entry trigger long if close above 52.5 with volume confirmation. So it even confirms like this is something you definitely want to be keeping an eye on the daily or the 4-hour chart. And then it shows you kind of where the stop loss needs to be, take profits and all that good stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like swing play long from 47, 49, targets 55. Scalp play, breakout long above 52, targets 55, 60 cents. And do you also want me to draft a hedge short setup? It usually does that automatically, like if it breaks down below a key level or hits kind of that stop loss area. I do like to confirm first on the chart, like what's going on. I'll give it a few hours to kind of confirm sometimes on the chart before I enter. But it says if a bearish breakdown, if ARB fails to reclaim 52, 53 and loses that 50 support with volume, this would invalidate the bull flag and likely send the price back to demand zone. So yeah, this is all pretty accurate stuff. Obviously it would be a nice short on that play, like a nice little swing short. Yeah, and you can go from there. And then of course, do you want me to create a decision flow chart, visual plan, so you can quickly act depending on how ARB reacts? So we'll click yes. So pretty cool stuff, right? Like all you're doing is like, it's doing all the work for you basically in an intelligent, educated way. Now, none of this is financial advice. You know, you don't even have to trade any of this. You could use it for your own research purposes and to do your own stuff. I might in the future even have this somewhat automated. I'm going to try to see if I can do a couple more cool things with this with some automation, but we'll see. And here was the flow chart. It looks like it created, which is kind of funny. ARB at 0.50, 52 levels, breaks down or breaks out, head short, scalp long. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. It shows you exactly what to do in this flow chart, which I think is pretty cool. But yeah, like as you can see, I was able to make that 5.8K on this Arbitrum, not maybe this picture, but as Arbitrum traded up this past, you know, couple days, or yeah, this, I think I entered down here in this 48, 49, maybe even 50 level, and it shot up all the way to like almost 56 cents. So I actually took profit around that 52 level, which was a nice trade. And since then, I'm glad I did because it's corrected and kind of going back to this like this kind of volume node where there's a lot of buying and selling going on around here, which it may come down to a little bit. We'll see. That's all I really got for this video. I wanted to show you guys how cool this was. Again, you can find it over here in the GPT area to have quick access to something like this. For any requests, just make sure you comment down below and we can try to tweak some stuff. Or if you guys have some other ideas or some cool prompts, definitely let me know in the comments down below. Love to see what you guys are making. And with that said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Be like an NFT, be authentic, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.